that I knew what I know now. But when I was younger, wish that I knew what I know now. When I was stronger. Hey guys, Stephen Bogrand here, Pro Physique, and today I want to talk about some things that I wish I had known when I was a little bit younger. So what's up, guys? Hopefully everybody's had a great week. Everybody's coming back from Thanksgiving strong, getting everything back together, and things are going well for you. So, of course, throwing a little clip of me singing there. Not well, but hey, it is what it is. And so it kind of fits, and the song kind of got me thinking about what are some things that I wish I had known before I kind of started this whole bodybuilding process that would have given me a little bit more realistic idea of what to expect and what was going to happen. So I think that there are both like things that I didn't really get that ended up being really good, and some things that I didn't really get that maybe ended up being a little bit not so good, or maybe that they weren't not good, but just a little bit different than what I had thought, and the perceptions, right, my preconceived notions. And so I think my first and foremost preconceived notion, and I'll actually put a picture of myself over here, so that you can see kind of what I used to look like. And this is probably about 10 years ago. This is about 21 years old, I think. And so it's the difference, right? So I thought, hey, you know, if I work out for 5 years, I'm going to be huge. I'm going to be 220 pounds. I'm going to bench press 500, and I'm going to be a beast and a monster. And so obviously that's not the case. But I think one of those great things that, or maybe not so great things, depending on your, perspective on it, is that that's definitely not the case. So I'm a natural athlete. Even as a non-natural athlete, like, there's going to be certain limitations to what I think you can do. Everybody has their own genetics, right? So we're coming into this set up to be a certain way, right? And so we're telling our bodies to adapt. And so whereas we get really good gains out the gate and things are changing fast and our body's like, oh crap, I have to adapt. Let's put on muscle, let's get bigger, let's get stronger. We get diminishing returns on that. And so like, it just doesn't last. Those great gains don't last. And so it slows down, and 3, 4, 5 years into it now, it's not that I'm unhappy with my progress, and it's not that I'm unhappy with my gains, because I'm quite happy. And when I look back at those pictures, that change physically doesn't just represent time spent in the gym and lifting weights for me. That change for me represents so many other things. It represents getting out of unhealthy relationships, getting out of an engagement, getting my schooling done, dealing with anger issues, dealing with so much in life that, it's the physicality of it is such a small part now. And so even though, yes, I thought I was going to be huge, yes, I was going to be, so my idea of what it would be wasn't on, but I think the reality of what it was exactly what I needed. So I think that was a big deal for me. And so that was, that's one of those realizations you come to, that sometimes it's not about the destination, sometimes it's about the journey. And falling in love with that journey and that process is huge. And that was something I wish I had realized right off the bat. But one of the other big things that I didn't realize was that, not everybody's a douche, oddly enough. So I know I kind of give off a vibe in the gym of I'm here to do work. I got my headphones on, I'm concentrated, I kind of got like my RBF going. So it's one of those things that people can come off a certain way, but actually be super friendly. And not that I'm necessarily the most friendly person in the world, but I've met a ton of amazing people who just care and put themselves out there and make time for you at the gym and sharing those things. And that's obviously not limited to the gym, but I think that there's this overall kind of blanket statement that people that work out all the time are super narcissistic and they're into themselves and they're douchebags and they're just terrible people. And that's definitely not the case. Granted, just like anything else, there are some of them in there. But I guarantee you, if you start talking to people at the gym, a lot of them are going to be open to giving you advice. Now, whether that's good advice or bad advice, that's a different story. But they're going to want to encourage you. They're going to be looking at your progress. They're going to take notice of you after you've been there for a while, you know, and they're going to let you know that you're doing a good job and that things are going well. And so, like, it's kind of this thing where when you meet these people, they lift you up, and then you lift them up, and it just makes you better. And you know, I was so closed off to meeting people outside of my own little circle at the gym, and it was one of those things that, like, once I did and I started opening up and talking to people and being friendly, you know, it just, good things happened. And so, like, that was another huge thing for me. I think the third thing that I want to talk about today that I really wish I had understood better was how much bad information there is out there, and how much responsibility I needed to take on my own fact checking and looking into things, that the information, the advice that people were giving me. Because there were definitely a couple times where I either risked getting hurt or I definitely did some really dumb stuff. And, you know, I took advice from people that probably weren't as qualified as they should have been to be giving said advice. So had I done my research, had I looked into better options, it would have been a different story. But at that point, it was hard for me to even know, what research do I trust? How do I look at research? And so I think that that's an entirely different skill set apart from the gym that we need to be able to make sure that we're not only making gains, but that we're doing it safely and that we're properly progressing volume, and we know when to, like, back off and to take a deload and let our body rest. So that's in and of its own thing. Being able to fact check and research and look into the advice that people are trying to give you is really important. And so, guys, the last one that I want to talk about, and this one's hard, this one's really hard, listening to your body. What the frig does that even mean, right? So how do I listen to my body, right? Like, I'm talking now, so I can listen to part of my body. I can listen to my knees crack when I squat, but how do I listen to my body? And so this one's kind of a little bit tricky, because depending on what exactly your goal is, it's going to change. So when I'm in a powerlifting block and volume's been progressing and we've been building it up and things are going tough and we're training hard, we're getting close to a meet, like, I feel like garbage. There are days when I go in and I'm squatting and I think that I'm about to die. And so on those days, what's really important for me to do is to actually take a camera, my phone, this camera, whatever, and look at my squats. Because sometimes what I feel when I have that weight on my bar and on my back isn't what we see. So it's important to be able to take a step back every once in a while and be objective with that as well. At that very same point, if something has a sharp pain during a workout, I'm done with whatever that is. If I'm deadlifting and I'm fatigued and it's heavy and I feel something go in my back, I'm done deadlifting for the day. I'll supplement that movement with something that's not going to put any pressure on my back, right? I'll do like some lying hamstring curls, or maybe some body weight lunges, you know, anything that's going to allow my back, whatever twinged, not to be further hurt, right? Because that's a big deal. When we're talking about listening to our bodies, all those sharp pains are important to pay attention to notice. Because when we have that sharp pain and then we keep going and we keep going, that's when we really get those nasty injuries. That's when things build up, and that's when all of a sudden, boom, something's done. And then we're out of the gym for, 3, 6, 12 weeks, and nothing is going to keep you from making progress more so than being out of the gym that long. So that is it, guys. That is where I'm going to wrap up the things I wish I had known earlier on in my lifting career video. Hopefully somebody got something out of it, and it will help you to have a little bit better of an idea about what's going on with the future of your lifting career or just athletic lifestyle. So Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. That's all from me over at Pro Physique today. Talk to you soon.